Day 11 of the Murdaugh murder trial continuing today with a woman employed by the Murdaugh family taking the stand. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for your news at 4.
Our Greg Adeline has been following today's proceedings. Greg joining us live from Colleton County. Greg, what can you tell us about the testimony from the family's employee? It was very shocking and powerful.
Indeed it was. Billie Jean and Judy, this was some compelling testimony that took several hours here from the stand. Shelley Smith is the caretaker for Alex Murdaugh's mother at Alameda. And you'll remember on the night of the murders, Alex Murdaugh went to that location shortly after 9 o'clock. Well, she was the caretaker there on duty that night, and she testified about what she heard and what she saw that night. From inside the courtroom to the witness stand, she describes June the 7th, 2021, saying that Alex Murdaugh arrived after 9, said that he called when he arrived and that he appeared fidgety. She also said that it seemed odd that he'd be there that late, that he appeared clean with the t-shirt and shorts and docksiders, and also said that he stayed about 15 to 20 minutes with his mom in her room, kind of checking his phone as he was somewhat laying down. She also said that Murdaugh confronted her a few days later, saying that if anyone asks, to tell them that he was there for 30 to 40 minutes, something Smith said is simply not true. Now, after she was pressed by Murdaugh, she said that she was nervous. In fact, she called her brother, who's a law enforcement officer, and also said that Murdaugh offered to pay for her wedding, which she said seemed nice, but also that clearly raises some questions. Meanwhile, she said that Murdaugh, another incident a few days later, a very key incident that was the focus of this afternoon's testimony, that he showed up at that Alameda house on 6:30 in the morning a couple of days later. But this time he knocked and he was carrying a blue tarp. Now, this was mentioned in opening statements. You'll remember that. But we later learned that SLED agent Kristen Moore testified that it was in fact 2 blue items that were found in the upstairs closet of that Alameda home in September: a blue tarp folded in a storage bin, and also a wadded up raincoat that was unpacked in court just moments ago. It tested negative for blood, but it is very large. Now, again, that opening statement, prosecutors say gunshot residue was found in that blue bundle. But take a listen to that moment that we learned about that bundle from that caretaker.
Did he have anything, or was he holding anything?
He had a blue something in his hand.
Say that one more time.
A blue something in his hand, something blue.
A blue something in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And can you show me how he was holding it?
Like this.
Is it all right if I touch it?
Yeah, this one.
How was he doing it?
Like this. Like that.
Holding something like this?
Yes.
And what did it look like?
Like a blue tart, like a tart.
Blue?
Blue.
Okay. Was it vinyl?
It's like a tart that you put on a car, you keep your car covered up.
Big thing.
Yeah, blue. Yeah.
And was he holding it like this?
It was holding like this.
Could you tell if there was anything in it, or do you know?
No, I couldn't tell.
Back out live at times on the witness stand, Smith was very emotional, just talking about just how nervous she was after she was pressed about that timeline, whether or not it was 30 or 40 minutes, as Alex Murdaugh suggested, but she maintained that he only stayed for 15 to 20 minutes on the night of the murders. But also a little bit earlier on, before all of this, just a huge ruling came down in this case. Judge Newman saying that financial crimes and financial evidence can be allowed in this case. You know, over the past several days, we have heard different witnesses take the stand, different testimony that we've heard, and we were wondering whether or not that would be allowed in the case. It will be, and it's interesting because, after all, it is very compelling toward motive. The prosecutors say that it was these financial crimes and really a financial house of cards that perhaps was kind of caving in on Alex Murdaugh around June the 7th, 2021, that ultimately caused him to commit these crimes. And so with that being allowed, not only will it allow the testimony and the witnesses to come forward, witnesses that we've heard from over these past several days, but it will also almost certainly prolong this trial. There are many different angles and many different tacks, many different different cases, in fact, that will likely come to the forefront over the next few weeks as those financial crimes are introduced as evidence. Just a huge ruling that Nick Neville is going to break down for you coming up on your News at 5. But for now, we are live outside the Colleton County Courthouse in Walterboro. Greg Adeline, WIS News 10.